It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 142. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, August 17th, 2025. A great day for a podcast about video games and more. So welcome to the show. I hope you're doing great out there in the world, wherever and whenever you're listening to this. Thank you so much for being here. The first order of business, however, is to ask you to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. So find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. YouTube is also a great place to watch me play some games live or check out the videos later. If you'd like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. Today's show will have three sections as always. The first section, I'll tell you about what video games I've been playing since I've last talked to you on this microphone, and I have a hell of an update for you today. I've actually completed a game. It's been something that I've been trying to complete for a long time. It has been a monkey on my back or a chip on my shoulder or something like that, and it is gone. So I'm going to tell you about that in the first section. The mid section is not mid in quality, it's the middle of the show, and all the video game information and news that you need to know. So I would say the middle section is one of the most important sections each week for all the video game news. And the third and final section is a break from the video game talk. That's the miscellaneous talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside the video game world. So that is the plan today. But we're going to get right into it. I am excited to tell you about this update in my own personal video gaming, and I've completed a video game. And you know what video game that is? Well, hold on one second. It's a series that has many entries in it. I've tried mostly every game in the series, and I've never completed one. I've gotten to various degrees of completion, 20 hours in, 30 hours in, 5 hours in, here and there, trying them out, restarting files, and all of it has resulted in me completing in 2025 The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Hooray, hooray, he did it. He completed a game. It's amazing. No one really believed he'd ever do it, and he did it. So yeah, I completed The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, my first Zelda game I've ever completed, and I was pretty excited when I saw those credits roll. There was actually, so maybe a little bit of spoilers here, but you've probably already completed this because this game is 8 years old, but after the final big battle, there was another final big battle. So I thought I completed it after the first one, and then the second one rolls through, and I was like, oh man, I still got some work to do, and how much more work. But the last battle was actually a little bit easier. I would say more fun, and really just kind of set up the ending of the game. So pretty amazing stuff. So I had a wonderful time with this video game. I'm extremely excited, if you can't tell, that I completed this and able to tell you here today, because I really talked about this on this podcast. If there was some type of counter, it would probably be one of the most brought up or talked about games since the Dep Lewis Show started, that I'm trying to complete this game. All my friends make fun of me for never completing it, or never completing a Zelda game, and it was a great day. So I had a wonderful time playing this game. I took down the 4 Divine Beasts. I got the Master Sword. I took down Calamity Ganon, and then also, I saved Zelda. So I can actually say I saved Zelda for once. She helped me out there at the end to defeat Calamity Ganon. The battle with Calamity Ganon was pretty fun. I actually only took me one try, so I felt pretty strong about that. I used almost every resource I had to take him down, though. I had to use Mipha's Grace. I had to use every item that I cooked. I probably could have cooked some more items. I had to eat raw materials just to get my health up. And it came very, very close, but I actually took him out on my first try. And then when you get to the second stage of the battle, you're riding around on a horse, shooting at this giant beast. I guess it was an elephant, I think it was, or it was just a giant beast, trying to take him down, shooting at him, and then you have Zelda come through, help you out a little bit too. But that last final battle was really fun, and more so just kind of riding around and shooting at Ganon, and then taking him down. So it was more of I think the hardest part of the battle was the actual first fight. So pretty excited. I really didn't think I was going to finish it that night. I was like, hey, I'm going to climb up I was at the portion where I've completed all 4 Divine Beasts, and I had the Master Sword, and I was like, okay, I'm going to climb up the castle. I've hardly even looked or poked or prodded around the castle at all. I'm going to try to find a way up here. When I looked online how you can ascend the castle, it was basically saying there's numerous ways to get around there, kind of like everything in this game. And I think I found one of the easiest ways to go. So I would say you need to look for some waterfalls if you're trying to make an easy run of it. Look for the waterfalls, try to ascend that way, and then there's a couple cliffs you can climb, and basically you get right up to the top and then into the battle. So I was pretty shocked that I was able to get up there so easily. I was thinking the climb and the whole castle was going to be a dungeon in itself, and I think there are a lot of enemies and things to get around there, but I took the stealthy route and made it to the top and got into the fight with Calamity Ganon. So it was pretty awesome. Got into the fight. I really didn't expect to complete it that night, and I played for about an hour, and I took him down. I got to the second stage of the battle, took him down, and I rolled credits, told some of my friends, and it was a wonderful night in my video game history. So I've completed The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I think that one's definitely a strong game in contention for my favorite game from a prior year for this year. So my two main categories for the Dep Lewis Show each year are my favorite game of the current year and then my favorite game I've played from a prior year. So I think this one's going to go right up to the top of the list of favorite game from a prior year. I think it's battling a little bit with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I have, it's just nice to have some contenders and to complete a game. So this one feels really like a video game weight off my shoulder that I've completed this game. I think I do want to complete Tears of the Kingdom and maybe some other Zelda games, but Tears of the Kingdom maybe will be the next one I keep making some progress in. I already do have some progress in there. I think I've played 70 hours of that game already. I've completed the first two, I guess they're dungeons in this game more so than Divine Beast. I've helped the Rito people, and I've helped who was the other ones? I don't think the Gorons. Rito and the Zora people. I've helped the Zora people and the Rito. Those are the ones I've helped so far in Tears of the Kingdom. I think I'm able to get the Master Sword. I think you have to have 2 full stamina bars in that game, where in Breath of the Wild you need 13 hearts, I believe was the number. So it's the kind of the opposite, but the 2 things that you can get from your spirit orbs. So I think I'm able to go get the Master Sword. I think it's from a light dragon, so I'm kind of looking into that. And then I have to take down 2 more dungeons. I believe that is the case before you can go try to fight Ganon in the Tears of the Kingdom. So I have a lot of... The plan there is I have 2 more big dungeons to go do. I need to get the Master Sword and then go take down Ganon. But the other thing is I have a lot of shrines that I found in that game that I have not completed yet. So I need to take maybe a day or 2 and just go backtracking and fast traveling to shrines that I have found but I have not completed. Look up some guides on how to beat them and make some progress there to get my hearts up. So I do already have a lot of hearts, but I think my stamina is at a good point where I have 2 full bars, and then I think I just need to get a couple hearts up would probably be smart. So that's my plan for Zelda. I have some other plans. I have some plans possibly to go back. I've been thinking about this since I've completed Breath of the Wild, that some of these series that I'm interested in, I maybe should, if there is a current game available and people like the current game, that might be the best one to try instead of trying to go back through the history of a franchise and start back from the beginning and move up to the front. So I think that is my new thought on gaming a little bit. I'm going to try to take it into other games. I think I've been doing this already somewhat, but this is a good example of playing something more current to see if I like the franchise instead of going back to the beginning of the franchise. So I think I'm going to do that with this, or I think I did that here. So now I'm freewheeling to go back and play kind of whichever Zelda I want to. But some other franchises I've been thinking about like that would be Pikmin. I have Pikmin 4 and I have Pikmin 1, and I've been thinking maybe I should go to Pikmin 1 and try to play 2 and 3. But realistically, I've never completed a Pikmin game. Maybe I should just play the 4th one, and if I end up really loving it, I can go back and get some more Pikmin in Pikmin 1, 2, or 3. So I think that is a little bit of the way. I think there's some other games. What are some other games like that? I'm trying to think right off the top. I think Metroid Prime is another one I'm thinking like that. If I don't want to play Prime Remaster, maybe I can just get Prime 4 and try it out. There's a few other games like that. It's just been, I'm kind of losing my ideas of those games. I wish I wrote more of them down, but this is something I've been thinking of. Witcher 3, another one, a game I have tried and maybe haven't been able to get into. When Witcher 4 comes out, maybe I just play Witcher 4 with all the new modern upgrades and then go back. So this is a little bit of a trying to cut some of the backlog off, or trying to find a more doable way through playing some of these games. So just trying to think about some of these things. I don't really have any other giant franchises out there. I guess Pokemon is one I've been thinking of. I've been back into playing some Pokemon Sword, and that was the thought of, hey, do I go try to play one of these ones on the DS or an older one? But being able to play things on the Switch is nice, and if I do end up completing one, then I can go back and play some other ones and try them out. I think it is maybe just my best practice to try to knock one of these modern games out in these series and then go back if I'd like to. So Pokemon is another one that I have been doing that with. So we'll talk some more about Pokemon in a minute, what I did with my file there. But this is mainly to tell you that I completed The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I'm happy about it. So it's a really, really, really great game. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it is up there pretty high on my favorite games of all time. I don't think it immediately goes to the top slot. I think that game is still The Last of Us 2. I think there's other contenders, and I think the other contenders have been moving up closer to The Last of Us 2 in recent history, but I can't definitively say that I like a game better than The Last of Us 2. But The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is definitely up there. Maybe on the top 10, maybe on the top 20 list would probably be like a quick guess of where I think this game ranges on my favorite games of all time. And it is done. I might still go play some more of it, try to complete some more shrines and see what else the world has to do. And just kind of mosey around, do some side quests, try to get some more armor. But I've also been doing some of that kind of stuff in Tears of the Kingdom, so I will keep you updated on my Zelda adventures as always. Alright, so what else have I been playing? So I completed that. I also completed a demo, and I did this on stream one night, so you can go check out this video if you'd like to on my youtube.com/Dep Lewis Show if you want to go see me play through the demo for Mina the Hollower. And this is a game that recently got announced. And I just gotta say, it was amazing. And the demo really sold this game well and got me even more excited for this. So this is a brand new game from the developers who brought you Shovel Knight, Yacht Club Games. They're creating Mina the Hollower now. This game is going to release on Halloween this year, 10/31/2025. And in this game, the back of the box talk is take control of Mina, a renowned hollower, hurled into a desperate mission to rescue a cursed island, whip foes, burrow through the ground, and explore a pixel-perfect world in Mina the Hollower. So the pixel art is very cool. Mina is a mouse. She can burrow through the world, which is cool. You can dive underground and you can come up and you can do a burrow jump, which has a little bit of timing to it. There's a lot of cool mechanics. There are 3 weapons at the beginning you can choose from, so that allows for different play styles. And there's some puzzling mechanics. There's different enemies. This game reminds me a whole lot of, I guess, Shovel Knight, a little bit of Hollow Knight, a little bit of Hades with the weapon and the fighting in there. So this game's doing a lot of things really cool. The music was nice. And I had a great time figuring out the demo. So if you watch me play this demo, I look pretty dumb with not figuring out some of the stuff, but I eventually do figure it out. And I guess the game does a great job of telling you how to do it. So this game immediately goes up to the top of my list. I think this one's going to be a day one purchase for me because I had so much fun with the demo. And I would highly recommend you go try this, especially if you like. This game has a little bit of Splunky vibes too, with just the difficulty and the precision you have to have. And I just had a whole lot of fun with this game. So please, this was a pleasant surprise, something from the Nintendo Indie Direct that caught my eye just a little bit. But then when I actually tried the demo, it really opened my eyes, I guess, if you want to continue with that metaphor, that I think this game is really, really cool. So please go check out Mina the Hollower if you like any of those games I kind of mentioned in comparison to it. Or if you just like my recommendations, please go try that one out, Mina the Hollower. I think it is only going to be on Switch 2. I'm sure, not only Switch 2, but I don't think it's coming to Switch 1. I guess it's going to be on other platforms as well, but I really can't confirm that at the moment. So Switch 2 is going to be a great place to play that. Mina the Hollower. Alright, so what else have I been playing in the past week? I've been doing some pretty good video gaming over here. I've been back playing some Mario Kart World. I did a stream of that last weekend, and I think that was kind of the last bit of me playing this. I think I did maybe a few more races during the week, but I've been playing some more Mario Kart World, mainly the online racing. Yeah, I did a Sunday afternoon stream after the podcast last week. I really love the online racing, and even though it's hard to get a first place finish, so I still don't know if I've gotten a first place. I might have gotten one once, but I am usually finishing in the top 10 for the most part. Trying to get in the top 5 would be a little bit more consistent, but I'm usually there in the 8, 9, 10 range and getting bamboozled at the end or something crazy happening to me. So this game is hard to get a first place finish. I think there's definitely some RNG mixed with skill there, but this game is extremely fun. I've been switching around on the characters more. I've been playing the penguin. I've been playing the cow some more of the animals in there. And I still think this is my game of the year. So Donkey Kong Bonanza is definitely a fun game. It's definitely going to be on my list. I've fallen off playing that the last week or so. Not as much progress there, but I'm definitely have plans to get back to Donkey Kong Bonanza because I've been having a lot of fun with it. But I think Mario Kart World is still holding up there for my favorite game of the year. Something I still plan on playing more of this year and continuously, and I'm having a really great time with Mario Kart World. I've still been playing some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as well. I'm completing some of the 150cc races in there, which is fun. I really do love doing the Grand Prix stuff, so it's nice in Mario Kart World 8 or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe how many Grand Prix races there are and the different categories and classes to do. And I've still been playing a lot of Diddy Kong over there, so I've been loving the Mario Kart. Both of those games are in contention for some Game of the Year categories, and I'm loving the Mario Kart. Alright, so what else have I been playing? I restarted a file in Pokemon Sword. This is one of my other thoughts of games that maybe play more of a current one in the system instead of trying to dive back into the giant past of the franchise. Maybe try to enjoy some of the modern upgrades, and if I really do find myself loving it, I'm going to kind of go back and play maybe some more of the bare bones ones. So that's a little bit of my thoughts on trying to tackle some of the backlog or some of these franchises that I've been wanting to play. Another game like that I was thinking was Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I've played a lot of Ratchet and Clank over the years. I've never completed one, but I've had a lot of fun with the franchise. I would say it's one of my favorite franchises. But Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart I actually did complete. So now I've been looking to go back to some of the other Ratchets, and it does allow me to, not allow me, it just helps me to go back a little more stress-free or carefree of playing them, knowing that I've completed one in the series, and that's kind of the main thing for me, is getting one of the games under my belt, and which one to do is sometimes a hard decision for me. So I think this is a new tactic that I'm going to be using. I'm trying to think of other franchises immediately. I guess Metal Gear 4 is one. Metal Gear 4 is one I've jumped into late in the series and haven't necessarily gone back to, but I might at some point. Resident Evil could be one. I've never completed one of those games. So there's a few like this. Metroid, I guess, could be one. So I'm thinking about this more and more with these franchises, but I'm back playing some Pokemon Sword. This is a game I've started a few times, never made any. I think one time I did make some significant progress, but I've never completed it, I don't believe. So I'm back playing. I got Sobble as my starter. This is a game from 2019, so I'm trying to make some progress on some games now that I've seen myself complete The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I'm going to quit saying that eventually, but maybe I'll bring it up from time to time. You're definitely going to be hearing about it in the Game of the Year discussions for Dep Lewis Show, and maybe just in the future if I keep playing some more Zelda games. So that has really been everything I've been playing in the past week. What else is going on? This has been the year of no direction for the Dep Lewis Show, so no initiative or anything to focus on during the year like normally. And I think for next year it might possibly be, I'm thinking it might be the year of the backlog. I thought about doing the year of the backlog this year. I probably should have done that. So it's kind of been where I've been leaning, but looking at the calendar, I think I'm going to be playing a lot of backlog stuff in general. I think the only two games that have a current date listed that I want to play day one would be, I guess, 3. Mina the Hollowers one, the Persona 3 Reload. I want to pick that up on Switch 2. So that's not necessarily a new game, but just somewhere I really want to play that game in handheld. And then GTA 6 is May of 2026. So I think those are really the only 3 games that for me, I can always be enticed or persuaded into getting another game, or I probably will. And there will probably be something that'll pop up that is interesting. But those are the ones with dates that I really would want to play on day one. So not a whole lot out there. So I think it's going to be a lot of backlog. So been thinking more about that for next year. So I'm just kind of giving you that update of what I'm thinking. But this year is going to continue to be the year of no direction. The only direction I had was to complete The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I've done that. Maybe I will. I don't know if I'm going to add any more slight direction for the year, but maybe I will. My top new game at the moment is Donkey Kong Bonanza, and those are kind of all my video game thoughts for the week. I've been having a whole lot of fun with them and just thinking of some good backlog things to play. I think Uncharted 4 is one I'm trying to make some more progress in. A game I've started a few times and never completed. I have completed Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 and really love those games. So I think Uncharted 4 is something I need to check off at some point, kind of like I did with Gears of War 4 earlier in the year. And I kind of need to do that with Gears of War 5 at some point too, because I really did enjoy Gears of War 4 still. But these are all talks for another day and games for another day, but that's everything I've been playing in the past week. So I completed The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I completed the Mina the Hollower demo. I've been playing some Mario Kart World, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Pokemon Sword. So that's everything I have in my video game world. I think I'll be playing some of these games in the upcoming week as well. But I will be back next week in this section to tell you about what I've been playing as always. But there is a lot more to the show, so this is only the end of the first section. So we're going to listen to some music, and we're going to come back for the midsection, where I tell you about everything you need to know going on around the video game world. So come right back after this. Welcome back to the midsection of Dep Lewis Show, episode 142. This is where I tell you about what is going on around the video game world that you need to know. And I gotta say, there's not a whole lot. It's been kind of a light week, but there are a few things to look forward to next week and a few things for this week as well. So I'm going to tell you about those. So the one for next week is a showcase or an event. There's Gamescom going on. And the opening night is Tuesday, August 19th. It's going to be showing off games like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, Resident Evil Requiem, Fallout, Ghost of Yotei, Ninja Gaiden 4, Silent Hill F. I don't know if they're going to be showing other games in this event or if there are other days involved in Gamescom, but I believe there are, and I just kind of expect to get some more announcements out of these games. I don't really think any of those games I am too interested in, so maybe have a little bit of low hopes, but there are some potential for some updates on those games, some release dates and news, and I will definitely be back next week to tell you what happened at Gamescom. And then there has been another announcement of an event, and that is a Capcom Presents, and this one's not going to take place till October 10th, so they're getting out there early on their planning, but that's nice because I like to be aware of these things. This is going to be taking place at New York Comic Con, so October 10th, but the Capcom Presents is going to be 90 minutes long, and will showcase all of Capcom's recent and upcoming releases. So I like when these happens. I like to watch them, see the summary, tell you about what I think is cool from these events. So if you are a Dep Lewis Show listener, I will definitely keep you up to date on all of these anyway. So just make sure you listen to the Dep Lewis Show each week. So I'll tell you about those two, Gamescom and Capcom Presents, after they happen, and just those kind of two updates on some potential news that we're going to get. But for some things that have happened in the past week, Drag and Drive has been released for Nintendo Switch 2. This came out on August 14th. This game is $19.99 US dollars. This is the one that you want to describe as wheelchair basketball. I think they've strayed away from calling it wheelchair basketball, but that's what it looks like. And it's a little bit of a Rocket League. It's a 3-on-3 sports game. It's coming to it's out on the Nintendo Switch 2. Hold each Joy-Con 2 controller like a mouse for tight control of both of your wheels. As you speed around the court, raise your hand and flick your wrist to shoot and score. Team up with or take on friends and other players from near and far online in fast-paced 3-on-3 matches. So I don't think I've seen anybody really enjoying this game too much. I think it's been a little more silly fun than anything. I think I've even heard some people saying this game makes their arms hurt or their wrist hurts from playing it and using the mouse. I still have not used the mouse on Nintendo Switch 2 for any reason, and I think this game will ultimately be a flop. I don't know how much hope they had for this. I think they kind of were hoping this was going to catch on like a Rocket League, but I think this is a little bit of Nintendo trying to do the Concord or do the PlayStation Live service thing of trying to create some magic where the magic's already been created. So I don't know how successful this will be. I think it seems a little bit gimmicky with the motion controls in this, and World Tour maybe should have just been free experiences on the Nintendo Switch 2 to kind of teach people about the controller and what's possible and what it's able to do. And maybe that's what these were designed to do, and they ended up putting a price tag on them. But I think you should save your $20, would be my take from as someone who hasn't played this, but I've seen people playing it out there. I don't think I've really heard one positive thing about Drag and Drive, but I wanted to tell you that's been available because these were games that Nintendo were heavily promoting and talking about for the launch, and I think they are almost useless. They're kind of useless video games. I don't think they really seem that great. That's my opinion on them. Maybe useless is kind of harsh, but I think the Welcome Tour, I think they seem useless to pay money for, is what I mean. That if these would have been some free things to try out, I think there could have been a longer tail to them or more respect or enjoyment from a consumer. But, they're trying to get those $20 out of you, and I think it's $10 on the Welcome Tour. So they can't take the little bit of a hit there, and that is where my gripe is and where my desire to want to try these out stops, is when I see the price tag on these games. But one good thing for the price tag out there, especially if you are a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber, if you're a subscriber to the expansion pack and you have a Switch 2 and you have access to the Nintendo GameCube, I know how confusing that sounds, but that really is the case. So if you have a Nintendo Switch 2 and you are a subscriber to the Nintendo Switch Online service plus the expansion pack, you can download the Nintendo GameCube section of Nintendo Classics, and on August 21st, you will be able to play Chibi Robo, which I don't have any experience with Chibi Robo except knowing that it's an expensive GameCube game if you want to get a physical copy. The complete price for that on price charting right now is around $198, and the loose price for that game is $126. So when people talk about GameCube games being very expensive, this is definitely under that category. But I think from what I've learned that this is a very quality video game and something a lot of people enjoy and want to play, and the price tag is not warranted, but it's at least a price tag on a game that a lot of people deem to be very fun. So Chibi Robo will be available on August 21st on Nintendo Classics for Nintendo GameCube for Nintendo Switch 2. It released in Japan in 2005 for Nintendo GameCube in North America the year after for a little bit of history. And then the back of the box talk on Chibi Robo is the player takes on the role of the, I meant to look up this world, eponymous. I guess that's how you say it, eponymous. Eponymous is probably how you say it. But I meant to look up what that means. And I think I did. I just don't remember. I don't know if it was like troublemaking or adventurous or something like that. But the eponymous Chibi Robo, a 10 centimeter tall robot owned by the Sanderson family. Gameplay revolves around navigating a household and collecting happy points by completing various tasks from housework to helping solve the dilemmas of the Sanderson family and the numerous living toys that inhabit their household. Sounded a little bit like Toy Story. Every action consumes energy, requiring the player to recharge using electrical outlets. So definitely an interesting concept and take. The art style looks cool, and it will be available on Nintendo Classics on August 21st. So that is great news for anyone out there who's been wanting to pick this up for the GameCube but not wanting to spend $200. You can pay for the expansion pass on the Nintendo Switch 2 if you have one and be able to access this that way. So I've been finding I enjoy the Nintendo Switch Online stuff. It's inexpensive enough, or it's affordable enough to subscribe to their online service, and they definitely have a lot of good classic video games on there if you would like to play them in a convenient manner instead of having to buy the old hardware and spend the money for the physical cartridge or disc or whatever it may be. So I think it's a good option out there in the world and something that I use from time to time. And I think I'll probably be trying this out at some point. So Chibi Robo will be out on Nintendo Classics in the upcoming week. All right, just a couple more things to tell you about for the video game news this week. And these last two are about shooters. I just want to mention that Battlefield 6, the first open beta weekend across PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S has been complete. And I think this game is going up the hype train. I think a lot of people enjoyed the beta. I think a lot of people are excited for this. All the footage I've seen from it look extremely cool. It looks like kind of a return to form for some Battlefield in the modern gen. So I think they're doing some really good things here. I've seen some crazy videos online of planes crashing and them shooting them down and just crazy interactions going on the battlefield. The graphics look good. I think Battlefield always does pretty good with the shooting feeling fun. I don't think they're being too gimmicky with this one. So I think this is trending to be a really cool video game. I haven't really been into an online shooter since probably, I think, 2019 or something like that. But I could always be tempted. Battlefield is a franchise that I have a lot of reverence for and think is really cool. And this one is coming out on October 10th. So I don't know if they're having another beta weekend, but I think it was basically one of those things where the beta was so successful, it was kind of crashing the game a little bit. It's like where they didn't expect that many people to be trying to play it or access it, where people weren't complaining about the quality of the game. It was just a little bit of the server load wasn't able to keep up with the demand. And I think that's ultimately what you want if you're doing a beta. I think it's the dream scenario for any developer throwing a beta is for them to crash your servers. And I guess you would ultimately want to be prepared, but you don't want to have 3 times the servers that you need and be paying that cost. So I think, trying to find the balance there is what they're doing a little bit with these betas. And you definitely don't want to hear that, everything was running smoothly and nobody was playing. So I think this game did extremely well, and just want to put that on your radar. It's definitely on my radar out there. Battlefield 6 releases on October 10th. The developer is Battlefield Studios, and it's being published by Electronic Arts, or EA. They're calling this the ultimate all-out warfare experience in a war of tanks, fighter jets, and massive combat arsenals. Your squad is the deadliest weapon. So standard edition for this game will be $69.99 US. I think this is bringing up the conversation of people saying, hey, we're going to be playing Battlefield 6, it's kind of screw Call of Duty. Call of Duty's been kind of stagnant or changing its direction in the last few years. And I think that's a valid argument. And I think the main differences between Call of Duty and Battlefield back in the day would be the vehicles in Battlefield 6. I think I would maybe put the fun of the shooting for me on the Call of Duty side, a little bit more of arcadey style. And Battlefield's a little more sim-like, but still very arcadey. But I think just maybe a little more clunky, or not clunky is maybe a bad word, but slower moving, more intentional kind of movements over there on the Battlefield side. And then on top of having the cool vehicles and stuff on the map. And then where Call of Duty would really shine would just kind of be in the arcade shooting aspect. But I think if Battlefield comes back for the modern time and just making more of a quality game, I definitely think they can get people to jump over there to play some of it. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this compares with the Call of Duty release this year, which I guess is Black Ops 7. They're going right back to the Black Ops well. I didn't touch the Black Ops from last year, and I don't know. I think it's interesting to see, and Battlefield's coming in here trying to make some noise again. So Battlefield 6 is going to be releasing on October 10th, and please go check out some footage of that. It's looking really cool. All right, the last game to tell you about this week is Helldivers 2. This is a game that released for PlayStation and PC back in February of last year, and it's had a lot of success as an online shooter. And if you don't know, Helldivers 2, you're fighting for freedom across a hostile galaxy in this frenetic third-person cooperative team shooter. Step into the boots of the Helldivers, an elite class of soldiers whose mission is to spread peace, liberty, and manage democracy using the biggest, baddest, and most explosive tools in the galaxy. So the news here that we've known is this game is coming to Xbox consoles, and it's coming to Xbox consoles, I guess, in about a little bit over a week. It's coming out on August 26th on the Xbox consoles, and they have just shown a trailer, Bring the Boom trailer, that is teasing some Halo ODST crossover. So the Helldivers definitely have a similar look to the Shock Troopers, I guess is what they're called, from ODST. And with this game coming over to an Xbox platform, a little ODST crossover is pretty crazy. I think ODST was a game that came out on the 360 in 2009, I believe was correct. And a very cool art style, orbital Shock Troopers is what they're called. And I think it's a pretty good combination if they're bringing this to Xbox to have a little bit of Microsoft or Xbox flair in there. And this is just another case of the consoles are commingling more than ever, and the exclusives are fading away out here for better or worse. You know, that you can, I think, probably argue each side there, but just an interesting thing nonetheless. And Helldivers 2, go check out that Bring the Boom trailer. And if you want to play Helldivers 2, you can right now on PlayStation 5 and PC, but Xbox players will be able to play Helldivers 2. I don't think this is a full price game either. I believe it's in the $39.99 US dollar range. And don't quote me on that, but I don't think it's a full price game. So that is one good thing going for it. So if you have a lot of people that like to play multiplayer on Xbox, I think this will be a perfect game for you to try out if you're especially into third person shooters. So Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox August 26th. And that is everything I have for you in the midsection and all the video game news for you this week. It was a pretty light week. It was mainly just a week of me completing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And it looks like we're going to have a couple, we're at least going to have Gamescom in the upcoming week, so I'll definitely be back to tell you about that next week. We talked about Capcom Presents coming in October. We talked about Dragon Drive being available now, Chibi Robo coming out in the upcoming week on Nintendo Switch Online. We talked about Battlefield 6, and we talked about Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox on August 26th. So that is all the video game news and thoughts I have for you this week. But there is one final section of the show, the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I usually get into the worldwide world of sports and tell you what's going on with my favorite teams, and that would be the case today. So please listen to this music and come back for the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 142, after this. Welcome back to the final section of Dep Lewis Show, episode 142. This is the Miscellaneous Talk section, where I can talk about anything I want to outside of the video game world. So I want to get into the worldwide world of sports, as always, and tell you what's going on with my favorite teams. My favorite NFL team, the Carolina Panthers, is involved in the preseason right now. So that's what's going on. The second preseason game for the Panthers took place yesterday at 1 p.m. against the Texans, and the Panthers lost 3-20. So 2 losses so far in the preseason. I think they have kind of looked poor, so it has been dampening some of my hopes. But I think that is a smart move for the Panthers most of the time, is to not have very high expectations going to the season. But just a little bit of a change of things where this year, where you feel like there should be some. They've made some good roster moves. You got Bryce Young looking pretty confident out there, but it really hasn't been shown out there in the preseason. And I don't know if it normally should. I don't know if there's too much to take from this, but I don't think it has looked like picture perfect out there in the preseason. But hey, it's just the preseason. You know, who knows? There is one preseason game left. It's actually at Bank of America Stadium, August 21st. So just in the upcoming week. So one more preseason game, and then the actual regular season for the Panthers is going to begin on Sunday, September 7th, 2025 at Jacksonville at 1 p.m. So I am beyond excited for the NFL season. Have to get my fantasy draft going in a couple weeks here. I love playing some fantasy football, and I love watching the Panthers either way. Even if they are 2-15 or losing all their games, I still enjoy watching, and I do have some hope for this season. I have a friendly bet with friend of the show, Stu Woot, that the Panthers are going to go over 500. So that is kind of where my hopeful expectations are. I think they're probably going to be, trying to flirt with that. I think realistically it might be kind of under the 500, but we're going to see. We're going to see what they can do, and I hope they're going to make some noise this year would be my hope. And I really do hope Bryce Young just kind of shows up in balls. I think Andy Dalton got injured in the game. I don't know how serious of one it would be, but I think it would be a real sad day. I think there's a lot hinging here on Bryce Young and his development and improvement, and I hope he can go and ball out this year. So go Panthers. One more preseason game and then get on to the regular season. So for the NBA, nothing going on with there. I'm a halfway fan of the Hornets since I'm a North Carolina resident, and I'm a full-time fan of the Atlanta Hawks. Looking forward to what's going on with the season. I believe that starts in October. The schedules just came out. I think the Hawks come to North Carolina or come to Charlotte to play the Hornets 2 times a year. So I usually try to make those games if I can. I think the first one is in December. So just always nice to see those on the calendar, and a nice benefit of living close enough to go see some Hornets games where I can actually see the Hawks a couple times a year. So pretty cool there. But just the off season going on, and looking forward to the NBA starting. And then for Major League Baseball, my favorite team there, the Atlanta Braves, they've actually been doing some winning in this last week, so that's been nice. I think I keep saying maybe they can have one more run in them to try to have some hope for the postseason, and I think it's probably a long shot. And I think it's probably almost mathematically impossible, but if they keep rolling like they are right now, I think they could be keeping it interesting at least. So since last week, Sunday versus the Marlins, the Braves won 7-1 to close out last week, and then Monday the Braves had an off day, and then they went up to New York to play the Mets, which I was thinking that even if the Braves didn't win any games during the season, if they beat the Mets, that would at least put a smile on my face for a little bit. And Tuesday at the Mets, the Braves lost 5-13, and I was feeling a little bit down because it's the Mets, and the Braves aren't having a good season, and you can't be losing to the Mets. But then Wednesday at the Mets, the Braves won 11-6, and Thursday at the Mets, the Braves won 4-3. So a good way to close out that series and actually win the series versus them and get 2 in a row there against those stinking Mets. And then Friday, the Braves went to Cleveland to play the Guardians for the weekend, and Ronald Acuna Jr. was back on Friday night, which is my favorite player in the universe. So wonderful to see him back, and hopefully he can remain healthy for the end of the season and then go into next season and just have health for the rest of his career. Hopefully Ronnie has gone through enough trials and tribulations health-wise and can just be out there playing baseball and having all the great fans like myself watch him, or all his fans out there watch him. So the Braves won 2-0 on Friday against the Guardians. The Braves won 10-1 last night against the Guardians. And the Braves will play the Guardians again today at 1:40. So that's about an hour and 30 minutes away in real time from when I'm recording this. So I'm excited to watch that. And then next week, the Braves are going to have 3 versus the White Sox in Atlanta to start the week. They're going to be off on Thursday, and then 3 more versus the Mets in Atlanta. So it should be a very winnable week of games, and I think the Braves need to continue this streak. Money Mike has really been a cornerstone of this last streak. I want to shout out to him. I want to shout out to Matt Olson for holding it down throughout the whole season. And then Money Mike, I think he's on a streak right now of 8 consecutive games with multi-hits, and he's on a very unique or heralded list of players. It's not a long list, and I think Hank Aaron's on there and some other crazy players. So Money Mike, it's nice to see you back balling out, and he's been helping my fantasy baseball team out a little bit with that balling too. So go Braves and go sports in general. So that is all the updates. No MLB news in general, so that is everything I have for you on the sports front. So we talked about the Panthers, who have a preseason game in the upcoming week. We talked about the Hornets and Hawks, who are just in the offseason. And then we talked about the Braves today, who are playing against the Guardians. So shout out to all my favorite teams. I definitely love sports. I was thinking my teams don't often have a lot of success, but that is how it goes being a fan of a sports team. This is one of the greatest times of the year when football is starting to kick back in, so just a good time to be a sports fan. And I'm even feeling a little bit of hype for college football, which I'm normally not into, but I think is fun to watch in general. Or I'm finding it more fun to watch as the years go on, and I'm always excited for the pro sports and everything like that. So just shout out to all the ballers out there and for all the great entertainment of the world. So that's all I have for you for the Miscellaneous Talk section this week. And that's everything I have for you for the entire show. So thank you so much. I want to reiterate some promotional talk from the beginning. Please follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Full episodes of Dep Lewis Show available anywhere you can find a podcast. Find the best place to subscribe and listen weekly. Places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Amazon Music, and more. YouTube is also a great place to watch me play some games live or check out the videos later. If you would like to support the show even further than just listening, patreon.com/Dep Lewis Show is available if you'd like to subscribe monthly. Also, Venmo at Dep Lewis Show is available any day, anytime, for any amount if you would like to support the show. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you have a great week out there in the world, and I hope some great things happen to you. And if things haven't been going poorly for you, I hope that changes. And if things have been going great, I hope that continues. And I also hope you come back and listen to another episode of Dep Lewis Show next week, because that's where I'll be. And just thank you so much. I just want to say that all the time. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next time. Goodbye.